link in the description if you want to go pick one up. Don't worry if it breaks when it comes to your house. I'll send you another one for free out of my pocket. I don't care. I want you to get your liberal tier mug. It comes in liberal tiers, white with the face, black with the face, white without the face, and black without the face. So pick whichever one you want, and it'll come to your door in about 3 to 5 days. So that should be epic. First link in the description. Thank you. Let's go on with the video.
Yes.
And my first
This one, the left hated this one. Oh, yeah.
I was not a fan either. But
good. I'm glad you came in.
yeah, thank you. So I was wondering, you said that if you had to go find a cheap X-ray or a cheap armchair, you would go to find an armchair.
If your life depended on, you have to find a chair today and buy it now.
Yes.
Versus you have to find an X-ray and buy it now. You would buy the armchair. Yes.
Yeah. So my question is, part of what allows you to find a cheap armchair is that there's such a difference in quality.
Yes.
You know, you can go and buy a chair that's $5, probably going to break soon.
Yep.
But so with healthcare,
Which I said in the piece, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
So with healthcare, if it's something you don't really want to go like some guy who's offering a $5 X-ray and say, hey, you want an X-ray? You know,
Why?
So, because if your life depended on it, I don't think that it would be a situation where you'd be willing to risk the.
So let me ask you this: why should an X-ray cost $200, $1,000 through an insurance company? It's literally a machine, and an X-ray technician takes a picture of it and then sends it to a radiologist who actually looks at it. Right, or a doctor looks at it.
So I don't know enough about the healthcare industry to answer that. But
The reason I'm saying this is because what I'm saying is that one of the reasons these things are so much more expensive and so much less competitive is because you do not actually have a free market in healthcare. You have a heavily, heavily regulated market in healthcare. If you want cheap X-rays, you have to have a competition in the X-ray business. There is no competition in the X-ray business. You can't go and look up a list of X-ray companies that are going to give you an X-ray today and then call them for the lowest price. In fact, if you go into the doctor right now and you say, I want you to take a look at this X-ray, how much will it cost me? The doctor will tell you, I can't give you that answer. Right? The doctor will tell you, I'm going to have to talk to your insurance company, or maybe I'm going to have to run it through my system, and then I'll get back to you. Is there any other product in America where if you went into a restaurant and you said, how much is that cup of coffee? They said, drink the cup of coffee, we'll tell you later. Right? It's not a free market. The point that I was making with the armchair comparison is not, of course, that armchairs are morally equivalent to healthcare. Obviously, people need healthcare more. Okay? Perhaps a better comparison would have been bread, right? Because people need bread. Okay? But the reason that bread is cheap is because there's a free market in bread, not because government is subsidizing bread. So the point that I was making is if you actually want to increase supply, the point I was making in that column, and overall about this, is that healthcare is not a right. Healthcare is a commodity. And the difference between those two views is that if you think healthcare is a right, now you're going to use the government to cram down on doctors that they must serve you at a particular price, or cram down on taxpayers that they have to pay for a certain level of your care, or cram down on insurance companies that they can't be insurance companies anymore. They have to be health coverage institutes, essentially, which is when they say you have to accept pre-existing conditions, it's not an insurance company anymore. If you had a fire insurance company and they said you have to accept pre-existing conditions, it would just be called the piggy bank. Right? You'd burn down your house and then go get fire insurance. So insurance companies don't work that way. So the point I was making is if you view it as a commodity, you're going to end up making it cheaper, more plentiful, more available, more competition. And the case in point of this is LASIK eye surgery, which is really unregulated. So LASIK eye surgery used to cost like $20,000 an eye. Now it costs $3,000, $4,000 an eye. The reason for that is because the insurance companies won't cover it and because there's a competitive market. Because it's really expensive, right? So lots of doctors now want to be optometrists or ophthalmologists and do this sort of work. This is why my wife's a doctor, so I'm very passionate about this particular topic. They call it the road, which is the successful doctors, radiologists, ophthalmologists, anesthesiologists, dermatologists. All those people basically charge cash and don't work through insurance companies. Right? The vast majority of them work in high-level private industry, and that's if you want to make a lot of money, that's what you do. And so what you're getting is in medical schools, if you're aiming for lots of money, you go into one of those four. You're not a primary care physician. You're one of those four. If you want more primary care physicians, what should you do? You should incentivize it. What Bernie Sanders and the rest of this crew want to do, they declare it a right, and then they take away the incentive. They declare it a right for you to have health care, and then they say to the doctor, you're going to work, and you're going to like it, and we're going to make you work. And this is why there's a black market in healthcare in Canada, there's a black market in Israel, there's a black market in the UK. It's why people come here from all of those places to get their surgeries. So here's the reality about socialized healthcare. Socialized healthcare is good for very, very basic things, right? It's like emergency care. The same way if you walk into an emergency room today, and you need an x-ray, they'll give it to you regardless of whether you have insurance, which is true. This is why in California you have a major problem with illegal immigrants who don't actually have health care coverage walking in and to the ER and using it as their health care coverage. Basically, socialized medicine works the same way, except there is no upper echelon. They've made it equal at the expense of the upper echelon, meaning that if you now want a surgery, you got to wait 6 months online for it because we didn't give any incentive for people to become surgeons. Right? There's no cost-benefit analysis there. If you want more of something, you have to incentivize that thing. And when you take away the market, there's no incentive anymore. That's the answer as to why, that's the very long answer as to why I say healthcare is more like a chair than it is like the air or water, because somebody has to provide it to you. Thanks. Yeah.
I thank you for your answer. I respect your reasoning. I also respectfully disagree. Could I just say one thing? Later this week, Sean King is coming to campus, and I think that it's really important that...
Oh, I wish he'd come today. I would love to talk with Sean King.
I would have loved to see that, but I also want to say I think it's important that, given the current reality of the situation our country is facing, that you go and listen to a multitude of speakers from a multitude, a diversity...
I agree. I think everybody should go and listen to Sean King. Yeah. And then I think Sean King should debate me.
Every time they raise minimum wage. Every time.
Inflation has gone up.
So what's happening in Seattle?
Seattle's not working.
People can afford it.
Go look in Seattle.
Right now, basically the working class can only shop at Walmart.
You are
That's
right.
it.
Every time the minimum wage is raised.
Yeah,
You were right. I admit you're right.
I mean,
You're right.
It's a minor, small little tariff just to say it's a tariff.
Well, it's a 266%. What was yours?
Okay, what do you do? 45% on everything.
Just admit
not
it.
just one little
Just admit it. Be a
What,
man.
steel only?
No, that
no,
you
we're
were
talking
wrong.
all products, buddy. All products coming from China. Yeah.
Well, you said 45%. It's 266%. You just say, oh yeah,
But
I'm wrong
how
on
come
that.
we go to Japan and we don't see Chevys and Fords on the road over there? How come it's all Toyota and Honda, and then you come here and it's the same? You don't support your own country, so you don't support your own country.
I'm literally creating manufacturing jobs. I am literally creating jobs that are coming from Asia right now. Look it up.
I don't care. They still
Look it up.
They manufacture here in the U.S. with the U.S.
regardless.
division.
No, not regardless. It's important.
Yeah. If you like manufacturing jobs, you say you employ people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well then why would you want those jobs to go to China then, which is where they're all going?
What kind of insane statement is that? Like, who said that?
What kind of insane statement? No, it's very clear that the
why
manufacturing
would I want
capital
my
of the
jobs to
world
leave?
is in China.
I just created
You just
it.
said you're
What are you talking about?
manufacturing.
Do your
guy, but you're
competitors
voting
manufacture
for jobs
in
to
China?
stay in
Or
China?
do your
What sense
competitors
does that make?
manufacture overseas?
Yes.
What do you
they're
make?
bringing their products back over the United States.
What do you manufacture?
And
I'm just curious.
packaging.
Like cardboard, corrugated.
Compostable, disposable packaging.
Familiar with GPC, General Packaging Corporation? No, they're in Conroe. I used to work for them.
Yeah?
Yeah, the majority of the workforce is illegal.
Well, I don't know what to tell
Drops
you.
the price down for
How many
Americans.
illegals do you employ?
You know, drops the
Take
wages
cash
down.
under the table. Answer. Look, he knows he has.
No, the answer's none, but you know
Oh,
what?
it's none.
Like,
Okay, it took you about 5
it's in
minutes.
Northeast Ohio, buddy. Go check it out.
I don't care where it is.
I mean,
Doesn't matter.
he's like,
Trump's gonna be president.
Like-
You'll be gone.
listen, the truth is, the reason I'm here is because of vitriol coming out of his mouth. I'm okay with Republicans and Democrats. I have no problem with either one. But what I'm seeing is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my lifetime in politics, okay? Somebody has to come out here and say, you know what? Y'all been warned. Because if this guy gets in, it's going to get ugly. No,
It's gonna get
it
ugly
is.
with Hillary.
But it ain't going to happen.
It's gonna get real ugly with Hillary.
It's gonna get, yeah, just like everybody thought the world was gonna burn down with Obama, right?
Rebuild it.
He's a dictator.
ISIS was
All
born
hell's
with
gonna break
Obama.
loose.
Look at
It
ISIS.
didn't happen.
Look at ISIS. They're a lot stronger than Al Qaeda ever was.
Really?
Look at ISIS.
I mean, come on. Are you really gonna say the Middle East? Do you know who invaded Iraq, Fred? I mean, come on.
Pulled us out prematurely without a single plan
Oh,
for
okay.
And left all our tanks
So
there.
he started the
Left all our
fire, and the
artillery.
fire department didn't stick
Well,
around long enough.
I don't agree that we should have been.
So
I'm
you're
talking about Donald Trump here. Donald Trump
Take our
opposed the war.
tanks out at least. Don't give them
Okay,
all our
fine,
missiles.
but you know what?
Destabilize the region.
We have what we have now, and it happened because we invaded another country that didn't invade us. We actually violated international law.
That didn't invade us, so 9/11
With an
was
international
fake?
coalition, everybody just broke international law,
You
and no
do
one was
realize
held
Iraq had
accountable.
nothing to do with 9/11, sir. You do realize that, right? Please tell me you realize that.
They did.
My God, I'm going to get dumber standing here, but if you don't realize Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11. Please tell me you understand.
Who's saying that Iraq did 9/11?
What you said, when
Nobody
you
claimed
talking
that
about an attack here.
Iraq. So you want to talk about war? You want to talk about the Middle East? The Middle East is a direct line from Iraq to the Middle East problem.
The Middle East destabilized was a bad thing. The war was bad to start.
Yeah.
We already established that. It was
Starting
bad.
wars is bad. What do you think Trump's going to do when that guy? I'm going to bomb the hell out of everybody.
Trump opposed the war in Iraq.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, you know what? You're with InfoWars. Look it up. No, he didn't. It happened after the fact. Look
Do
it
you
up.
believe he will defeat ISIS? Donald Trump?
Trump supports things like getting rid of
You're not going to
terrorism.
defeat
That's not
ISIS until you stop invading countries. That's how you do it. Because when people get bombed and killed, their kids grow up and they say, you know
We're
what?
supposed to stand here,
that.
arms folded.
What would you do? What would you do? What would you do if a plane came overhead? What would you do if a bomb came overhead and bombed you?
I'm here, you react.
Well, we'd be dead.
Exactly, you react. That's what's happening over there, friend.
No.
The analogy's the same.
They're radical Islamic terrorists. They're going to cut off heads whether we bomb them or not.
Why do you think people get radicalized?
You're saying it's our fault that they're radicalized.
When you bomb people and you kill them.
They get radicalized.
Okay, I think we
They
can
get
all
radicalized
agree.
because of their ideology.
If you want to talk about 644 AD, then I can
Don't say we can all agree, because it's never going to happen.
Response to Muslim expansion, right?
But
You understand that, right?
What
So
was the
don't bring
purpose
that
for
up.
the Crusades?
Okay, so
you
let's
wanna-
put this on. You know that based
now
on
we want to go back
All right, you
and
know-
we want to re-argue the Crusades.
you know 52% of Muslims
You
want to do that. ISIS
Look, guys,
is
2016, all right? Let's stop killing
All
people.
right, look, you know
It's a real easy rule. 2016, let's stop killing
have you
people.
ever changed
You know
it,
what?
man?
It's about the only thing we're going to be able to do.
Have statistics on
You go over and tell ISIS this.
Well,
You know,
stop, we'll stop.
you know, a generational
you know that
problem.
over 80% of
It's a
Muslims
generational
So it
problem.
takes someone involved to stand up
And the president cannot run under treason. You guys are showing this. A president cannot be elected under treason. Build that wall! 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 A president cannot run under treason. Sir, there is alcohol on your breath. You've been drinking. You need to back off. Well, you know what? Press smells like I'm sober. Well, you may be sober, but you've been drinking. No, I haven't. You're wrong. I'm sober. I'm sober.
Right at you, dude.
33,000 emails.
33. Where they at? They're gone.
Legal or illegal?
With or without papers?
No. Are you for legal Muslim immigration to this country? Yes or no?
You know what? If they got the papers, they can get
So
in.
yes, that's yes, right? So what gives you the right to tell every Muslim that they cannot come into this country?
Tell them only spend the
can't
money.
argue.
Only
can't
make
argue
the
the
money that
position.
doesn't say
Argue the position.
Donald Trump's stance was to ban all Muslims
I know you-
until a security clearance. It wasn't banning them on a permanent
Sir,
basis.
look at Google. Google it, man. Get a
Hey,
computer.
gotta Google. I watched
Google
it
it.
earlier.
The State Department rules. Then Google the UN resettlement refugee package. Look at that stuff. I mean, tell your kid, look on the computer.
I ain't gotta
man.
tell my
I'm
kid.
a
My
nerd.
kid's been watching
Well, you're
Trump
bringing
since
him
the
here.
day he announced his
That's what I'm
presidency.
saying. So what are you
His
teaching
whole
him?
entire school is behind Trump 2006.
Ask him what he thinks about Muslims. Ask him what he thinks about Muslims since you brought him into this picture. Since you brought a child into this environment, okay, of hate.
I don't have a right to educate
Yes,
my child.
okay, then what does he think about Muslims?
How many of those Syrians have papers? And they have radical Muslims.
Okay, so
and there's a
Muslims
big
are okay.
difference.
So Muslims are okay to come into this country.
As long as they
Agree.
absolutely.
Okay,
as
so
long as they have
when
security
Trump
clearance.
says- when they all have
Obama
security.
didn't require that.
They all have the same. You know how hard it is to get into this country legally? That's why people
Hey,
come here
you know
illegally.
what? You know what? You know how many people do it every damn day?
When you cut this
Every day
this
people are
grass
coming in
was
this
cut
country
by
legally.
immigrants. These trees were
There is
trimmed by
no
immigrants.
exceptions to the
This
law.
tree was leaf blown by immigrants.
Hey, in the
Okay?
words of the court,
That
ignorance
okay.
is no excuse
So
for the law.
immigrants
Right?
are the ones
You're
legal or
right.
illegal.
Ignorance
Go
is
to your
no
congressman
excuse
and
for the
say,
law.
I want an e-verify system. I want everybody that applies for a job to have a social security number.
The Democrats
No,
want to put it.
the
Anybody on a
Republicans,
no-fly list
the
can't purchase a gun.
Republicans, the
I
Republicans.
can't purchase a gun.
Go to your congressman and tell him you want the E-Verify system activated so that anybody applying for a job has to type in a computer his social security number and it comes out if it's legal. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the Republican administration has stopped it. The Republican administration has stopped it 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Okay?
Obama said, don't worry about all that.
You know what? Just Google it. Like I said, I don't have time. I don't have time
We
to
need
educate you guys.
Democratic votes.
I really don't, man. Come back in a couple of years or something. 'Cause I don't have time.
Oh, yeah.
His points are invalid. His points are invalid.
Find more reports on info.
Trump, 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 Trump.
Hello everyone! Hey, I'm just stopping by to remind you that liberals are insane! Social justice warriors are becoming more violent and triggered than ever before. Anyways, be sure to subscribe to KGP TV on YouTube and have a blessed day. Yeah, man!